All right. So you might hear my brother in the background. You might not. Background noise might happen. I live in a house of 6 people. It's gonna happen. But today we're gonna be doing common defending positioning, and we're gonna start with right back. Anything I do with the right back is gonna be the same for left back. So keep that in mind. We're gonna go right back, then to center back, and we're gonna start with a 3 front. Okay. So this is the most common 3 front. You've got 3 attackers, center attacking mid, and a midfield. And as a right back, in this situation, that guy is covered by the center mid, but the center mid's not going to push back as far due to the center mid still needing to be able to help up on more of an attack, connecting the midfield to the attack. So for this situation, pushing out the winger to the outside, we've got both those guys marked. He's marked. So if you can keep the attacker on the outside, make sure your foot's still coming around this side, because if he shuffles it back to him, you want to be able to catch that. But also making sure that he's not going to be able to get it to that guy on a lucky through ball. But also still play a little bit cautious. Make sure that you can close your feet quickly in case he tries to go through you. Because if he can cut to the inside, he has a much better situation of shooting, and he'll be able to help with the attack. But if you can push him to the outside, make sure that he's forced into a corner or a cross. Crossing situations, less people in the box, better for the goalie, better for the defense. Just kind of keeping him on the outside, because you're much better off defending him from a corner rather than defending him when he cuts inside. It can cause a mess whenever you're getting pushed towards the center back. If you two are too close to each other, phantoming, all this stuff, you just don't want to get too close to the center back unless it's necessary. So staying on this guy, making sure you're not pressing too tight, because you don't necessarily need to take the ball from him. Yes, it's nice too, but, kind of pushing him to the outside. If it's later in the game and your defense has been doing really well against their attack, consistently, like you've been able to steal the ball, you've had no problems with that, and I press the shot. 1 second. And you've been pressing him, then you can take if you understand, if your skill level's higher than his and you know he's not going to get through you, take the ball from here, but watch the ball. Watch it, kick it. If you can, kick it to this side first. You can also take from here, but kick the ball outside. Kick the ball outside, and if he gets it, sprint back here. Kick it, don't follow it. Kind of kick it and then follow, sprint with it. Kick it, sprint. But make sure, because if you kick it and he somehow gets it behind you, you're going to get if you're over here after you take it and he somehow gets the ball and he carries it that way, you're at much more of a disadvantage, because since you're going to have to sprint at a diagonal and he's on your right side, so he gets an opening to the net. But if we have good defense overall, he could try to swap sides over to that winger. Over to that winger. But if he tries to swap sides, he can either press him, he can press back and take it, or even if he gets the ball, same situation, push him outside, and he's farther away. So if he's outside, there's only one guy in the box rather than the winger having the opportunity to push inwards. So him swapping lanes is the one thing we want. We want him to swap lanes. But it's okay if he presses downwards. As long as he doesn't press inwards, we'll be okay, keeping him on the outside. So in this situation, either this can be shown by a pass from a corner over to the short guy, or pressing him outside, like I said earlier. So you just don't want to let your center back panic, making sure that your center back is comfortable. The center back is going to be the primary defender here. He's going to be able to shut down most of these angles, along with the center defensive mid. But yeah, getting up in his face. Shorter defenders, make sure you step back a little bit, but arc over, because shorter center backs should be pressing a little bit tighter. You can, even if you get close enough to him, you can even kind of keep your legs down and use your head instead. So kind of like this. Make sure if he tries to kick it over you, it hits your head, then sprint over and kick it. But make sure that if it does hit your head, make sure it doesn't hit his and then bounce back. Make sure if it hits your head, that it goes behind him. Then you can go. But if it doesn't get behind him, then continue pressing, continue the defense. He can try to chip it over, but it would be very high chip. You follow that backwards. Your center back should not be pressing in when you're pushing backwards. if your center back pushes up here, yeah, just call the ball. Make sure it's your ball. Let's say the ball's right there. Call it, get under it, and kick it outwards. Or even control it if you notice he's not pressing. Control it and then kick it. But make sure you're comfortable with the situation as a center mid, because if he gets the ball, he's already in the way of the shot. Goalkeeper's also in the way. But even if he is in the way of the shot, sometimes you don't want to block the shot unless you can. If you're going to block the shot, try to block it with your head or with your feet while they're on the ground. If you try to kick it in the air, it might roll over your foot, and that causes a much more uncomfortable situation for the goalkeeper. So mainly, if you can, use your head or use your feet while they're close to the ground. Make sure it doesn't roll on top. If it slows down enough, the goalkeeper can get it, but there's always different situations. So don't try to stick your foot up like this. Instead, get your head in the way, because your head, it won't go through your head as often, and your head's, bigger. So if it hits it, it's going to bounce off, rather than if it hits your foot, it'll roll over. And then obviously in most leagues, you probably can't use your hands in this situation. So, just getting in the way, getting ready to use your head or whatever you need. This defender should be taking care of that, though. The defender should not be letting that over. If he gets it over the foot to this way, because when you're guarding from this angle, it's going to hit your head. But when he's guarding from that angle, it can go over. So always assume that you need to move your foot upwards on this. So even just putting your foot, kind of moving it up and down by moving your shoulder back or your elbow. But just make sure it can't get over that way. Next, I'm going to show center backs. And then I'm going to go into a 4-back. Center back in a 3-back and in a 4-back. Center back in a 3 front or in a 4 front. If they're using 4 strikers, 4 attackers, or if they're using 3 attackers, center back, very similar. It's just 1 extra man to guard, which is going to be demonstrated in when I'm showing right back. So here is a 3 front as a center back where the cam has the ball. Obviously, in situations when the right has the ball, I already kind of went over that. So in this situation, you don't want to press too tight, but almost staying right about here is a little bit better, because you can get up here and get around, or if he decides to take the shot, you're in the way. So just kind of getting in the way. You obviously, if he takes too much time, he's going to get the ball from him. So if you can, if your defense can totally take control over this situation, you can give your center defensive mid time to take the ball there. But your only priority should be this attacker. They've got them, so this is your guy. He passes it in, you take it. He gets the ball if they pass it, but make sure not to play too aggressive, because if he goes for a through ball, you still need to be able to take that, kind of moving in front of it and taking it here. If he passes it to his left or his right, take it from here or here. If he passes it head on, get around him, but still be careful in case he gets it by you. So kind of, you can even take it with the back of this foot. So then you have this foot here, or you could take it with this foot and be ready to sprint back. If he's sprinting to get to this position, you're gonna have more sprint, so you can take a little bit more aggressive. Or if he's not moving, you can even sprint up and take it here. But the only vulnerability is if he somehow gets it around you, or if it gets through you, he's head on to the goal. And he's playing there, so moving up is going to still allow him to not be offsides. Always make sure, as a center back, if you're trying to get offside trap someone, make sure the other center backs or other right back and left back aren't too far back. In this situation, he is. So don't try to push this guy off sides. He's going to stay on sides and he gets a goal. So here in this situation, the left winger has the ball. And he's playing careful because this winger is currently pushing in, and he's pushing towards the box, towards the goal. So staying here or here, make sure you can either keep him in your sights or read the minimap well. Obviously, it's a better situation for your eye to be on the ball and on him. So playing right here, being ready to sprint up and take it. If he starts sprinting this way, he's off sides if he sprints past him. But if he's pushing back due to him pushing in, you don't necessarily need to carefully mark him, but definitely follow him lightly, because obviously he eventually will run out of room to run. he doesn't have any passing opportunity here. And if he passes it back to the center mid, which there is none in this example, if he passes it back, it's a full reset, and you'll just, go back to original positions because they're all going to probably push back a little bit. His only passing option here is passing it a little bit behind this winger and calling him backwards to take it, which then again is going to be similar to all the other situations where he has to push it outside and pass it inwards. So keeping an eye on him and him, being able to take the ball by either wrapping around, most likely with your right foot, again with the same situation earlier where you get the back of the foot, or taking it like this. This is obviously the safest way to take the ball. You've got both feet kind of wrapping it in, taking it like this. The ball's in the middle. If they try to take it from you, if they're on strict rules, it's most likely going to be a penalty. If there's a ref watching, it most likely is going to be a penalty. Taking it here, you get control. You can take it outwards. But the center back's only priority should be staying calm and making sure the ball doesn't get into the box. If he tries to cross it over there and you're confident in your ability, you can sprint here and take it like this. Make sure you're using both feet to then take it downwards, or to take it, block it, and then go off the rebound. The only downside, if he also pushes for it, he could beat you in this battle and take it towards the net. But it's genuinely just staying calm. If he somehow gets the ball there, same situation as earlier, you just, make sure you can take around him. Take around like that. If he tries to play it out winger, it's the same. Take it in the box. Make sure that it doesn't get over your head. I'm going to move on to a forefront for right backs because I will explain center back while I'm doing the right back. So let's move on to that. So here, you're going to be playing right back, and I don't have sprint showing because of easier recording. So in this situation, you're on this guy, but you've got this center back here. So make sure you're still pushing him on the outside. You want him to go outside, but the center back can either play more centered or he can push on that guy, because you should be able to take over this guy and this guy at the same time. So almost taking over any of the chips, taking any of the low balls, but still keeping him outside, because if he presses inside here, then he's got a lot more options. He can swap lanes easier. He can tap it over for a through ball. He can pass it straight down. So even if he presses inside, make sure you're staying in between him and this player. This guy's going to be the primary target of the play. And we're playing man down in this defense situation, where center mid, all those stuff. Center back, center defensive mid pushing back. Left wing should be playing a more cautious in between these two guys. He should be ready to run up and take it if he tries to pass it here, or be able to run back for the through ball. But he should also be willing to push back and keep him on the outside, similar to a 3-back. The only difference is now they have one extra guy in the box, which in this situation, you can't let this guy get in the box without being covered. So staying in between them. Or again, with the 3-back, you can also call him to the middle and push this guy completely rush this guy. Or you can call him over to here, which is less likely because he has to run a longer diagonal. You can call him over here and cover here, but on this side, to make sure that if he passes here, you can control it. Almost like 2 center backs and a left back, almost excluding the right back there. If we're playing a 4-back in this situation, it's very similar to a 3-back formation. The center back marks that guy, watches it, and you can kind of press him, but pressing him outside. So in this example, the winger has the ball, and you're playing a man down in the box. Now, the goalie should never play up and the goalie should never try to take a dunk. The goalie should be ready to save them. The defenders are the ones who can take the dunks. So in this situation, he's a lot further back, and you have to be able to cover him. So standing here, getting hands up, but you don't want to press. You can't press too tight or else he's left open. Unless you call the center back and the center back can cover him, which is not the best situation, because it's most likely a team won't do this, but if the player passes it here and he taps it this way to the uncovered striker, he can take the shot. So as a taller defender playing here, getting in his way, making sure that if he does try to chip it over you, you can still sprint back and shuffle, getting here and covering like this. I'll do a more extensive explanation in a different video on defensive dunking, but just getting in this guy's way. Don't worry about that guy. Make sure you call your man, so you can call this guy, for example, striker 1, striker 2. So if he crosses it in, say I'm covering striker 1, cover striker 1, or you can just say I got striker 1 and then cover him, just so that you don't confuse him, because he might not understand. He might not think you're going to push back and may try to cover him, and then there's two of you, which means the ball may glitch straight through and then even glitch through the goalie's feet. As a shorter defender in this situation, it's much more difficult. Let's say 5'6" and below, or 5'8" and below, even if you're not confident. You want to get in his way, and again, there's no one to pass to him back there unless he pushes in, which is very doubtful because they're playing a forefront. They most likely don't have a center mid. Push low and use your head. Make sure your feet are like this. You can even have your feet like this. Just get in the way of this ball and make sure it doesn't get through if you're shorter. If it does get through, sprint, full speed, turn around so that you can watch this guy. It doesn't matter about when the ball arrives. It's about just getting in his way. If just standing here like this, even if the ball never arrives, even if the ball's going to him, you can still keep your hands here. You don't need to worry about when the ball is going to arrive. Just get in his way. Top priority, especially if you have to push a lot closer. Just full sprint, get in his way, even if you have to block diagonally or vertically. If you can, vertically, much better. But just getting in his way, stopping the ball progression there. If he passes it back, kind of shuffle in between these two guys. So, because if he passes it back, it's very unlikely that he's going to pass it there. It's most likely he's going to push inwards, and now you've got four people in the box, and he's going to push in, 5 people in the box. It's just not a good situation for 3 defenders to be guarding 5 people, which is also nice why you should have a center back, a center defensive mid. If you don't have a center defensive mid, this guy should be a center mid and be playing a little bit more behind him. If the ball is passed behind him and he gets the ball, it opens him up to the winger or to pass it or to shuffling out and shooting, which again, the center back in this situation should be blocking with his head. And if the ball is passed over here for the center back, again, same thing, getting in his way. And center backs are most likely taller defenders, so they won't have to worry as much of the height disadvantage. You can win any pass if you dunk defensively. If you dunk defensively and you dunk correctly, even if you're 4'6", you can guard 7'2". So there's only one more thing I have to... Hi. Sorry, interruption. And the last thing I'm going to explain, let's just say all their strikers are on that back line. I don't have a situation set up for this, and I'm not going to build one. If they have all of their strikers here, do not play back. Play up to either their furthest down striker or winger, or play here and catch him off sides. If they clear it down the middle to him, he's off sides. If you know the ref's not doing very well or isn't calling very well, then you come back and cover this guy. It's similar to these situations. If you're trying to do an offside trap on a 3 front or a 3 attack, make sure the ref has been doing good. If the ref has been acting basically blind, defend more strategically. Don't get mad at the ref for making a decision if you could have prevented it. If you can cover it, if you try to offside trap someone and the ref doesn't see it, obviously you can be mad at him. Just don't yell at him. Yelling at the ref is either the quickest way to get a yellow card or even a red card. Just don't argue with the ref. If the ref makes a mistake, use the replay, send it to them, and they might cancel the goal. But never count on someone for canceling the goal, especially goalkeepers. I've seen so many goalkeepers let goals in and then say, well, he was offsides. And then the goal still doesn't get canceled. And now the goalkeeper's at fault when he could have saved it. Make efforts even if you think the play shouldn't count. It's about Not even if the play the game, even if a penalty should have been called. Play it. Play every down like they're going to score. You're a center back, not one of the guys standing in the stands. Make sure you might not even have a good view of, you don't have as good of a view as the people in the stands. The goalie has the best view. So if you're a goalie and you can, help your defenders. Tell them where people are, but don't get mad at them. My one thing that I absolutely hate people do is yell at me where to position. Especially if they're a striker and they're yelling me to position properly. That's ticking me off. Don't yell at me to where position unless it's like genuinely I'm looking blind. If I'm playing here, yell at me. Tell me to get on that guy or tell me to get on that guy. Don't let me make stupid mistakes, but don't yell at me when I'm positioning in a way that still looks proper. If I'm absolutely doing blind stuff, if I'm down the field by midfield, if I'm standing on this guy, you can yell at me, but don't be stupid. Don't yell at me without understanding. Okay, that's all I had to say. This video is for one of my teammates. He asked me to make a video on defending positioning. So I'm going to post this. He's going to see this. Good luck on your defensive positioning. I'll post more videos on advanced positioning, dunking, clearing, and how to train your ambidextrous and make yourself more ambidextrous. So being able to kick with right and left, if you don't know what that means. I'll make a bunch of different videos. So subscribe, like. They help me out a ton, and they help you out a ton. I'm not in it for the money. But just play the game. Have fun. If it's a friendly, don't get mad at your teammates. It's a friendly. Come on. No one's actually trying their hardest. They're just out there to have fun. So, see ya before this video gets too long.